No one expected Vaelor San, the bastard of House Dayne, to achieve much in his life. When he created his own cadet branch of House Dayne, House Starfell, it turned some heads. But now that he's gone to war and assumed control of the High Lordship of Blackmont, the whole kingdom has taken notice. His new concern is legitimacy. He wants House Starfell to be taken as seriously as any of the existing noble houses within Dorne. To do that, he seeks to get as close as possible to the Prince of Dorne himself. Vaelor also has a dream that one day House Starfell will become dragon riders. In order to do that, he needs to make sure that he marries off as many dynasty members as possible to those with high Valyrian blood, and future generations will have the task of venturing out and taming some of these wild dragons. And we are back inside of our brand new High Lordship of Blackmont. Vaelor is extremely happy with his success thus far, ensuring that House Starfell is not just a lesser-known cadet branch of House Dayne living under their rule, but their own house with their own High Lordship. Unfortunately though, it did not come without some tragedy, and we did lose our eldest daughter, Winora here, at just the age of 21, who actually died during childbirth. This was unfortunate because not only did we lose our daughter, but we also lost our alliance with the actual Prince of Dorne himself, as we had married Winora off to his son, Prince Denzel. Instead, now we do not have an alliance with the actual Principality of Dorne. Interestingly, the only alliance that Dorne does have is with House Dayne themselves. And House Dayne is not too happy with us. Our brother, Lord Tion, the Sword of the Morning, is now infirm, 63 years old and in poor health, and he's not very happy about the fact that his bastard brother not only is now no longer his vassal and independent, but also took many de jure lands of Torrentine with him. Vaelor is not overly concerned with his brother at this point though. He saw the Independence War as something that simply needed to be done. He did not want to kill his brother, to usurp the throne or anything like that. He just wanted his own family to be independent so they could create something for themselves. Like I mentioned, Blackmont is already oversized because we have taken some of the northern counties of the Torrentine with us, but we don't actually have all of the de jure lands in Blackmont yet either. There is Carrion Heights over here, held by Lady Catelyn Offal, and then to the north we have the Lordship of Westeros, which is the last holding of the previous Lord of Blackmont, who we took it off in a war. He is our nemesis, he is a covetous villain, and he is also severely injured in a dynastic kinslayer, and we're going to put an end to him today. He does have an existing alliance with Lemonwood over here. They actually have 3,000 troops. Where are they located? Oh, actually inside of Dorne. Interesting. We still have our own fair share of vassals though. We are still allied, of course, to Marquise Tristane of Prince's Pass, which is just right beside us here, a very nice alliance. And on top of that, we are also allied to Lord Edison of Cockleswent with their 8,000 troops. Now, we can't actually declare war on Lord Bernard Blackmont just yet because we still have the truce from our initial war. What we can do, though, is move in and take Carrion Heights. We're going to seize this land here. It shouldn't be an issue for us at all. We also shouldn't need to call in our allies. She is fairly weak by herself over there. Nothing personal in this war, but we do just need these lands inside of the actual High Lordship. After the battle in Carrion Heights, Master Gedry here has performed particularly well. He is our marshal. I think it absolutely makes sense to knight him as well. Oh, and look at this. We've received a message from the Prince of Dorne himself, and he wants to grant Lord Bernard Blackmont to us as a vassal. Incredible. We will have our nemesis, who we took Blackmont off, now a vassal under us. We will have to deal with that. It's going to be an interesting one, but that's incredible. I think it's fair to say that the Prince of Dorne has no issues with the new High Lord of Blackmont. We will, of course, accept this. To be honest, he probably would have given us Carrion Heights as well. We may have just gone to war too quickly here, but we're asserting our dominance. Nothing wrong with that. What I would like to do, and I think speaks a lot to the House Dayne in our blood, would be actually challenge him to a fight. However, I can't do it yet while we have a truce with him, so we're going to have to just manage him for the time being. What I might actually do is check for potential spies. I'm not exactly sure how this works. Your spy master found a potential new spy at Lord Bernard's court. Elos might be convinced to join your spy network. I should contact Elos soon. I'm interested to see exactly how this works. To be honest, this will definitely be a very intrigue-based run in many different areas, but I think that will happen more so with our children, as they kind of really start to define House Starfell as its own house. Vaelor here is still very much a Dane at heart. He did grow up a Dane, granted a bastard, yes, but everything he knows and the way in which he understands the world is very much through the lens of House Dayne. I don't feel like he would just suddenly start taking things in a very different direction, but his children, and as the house progresses, may obviously take things in a very different direction indeed. But I would still like to hold on to the sort of martial high prowess characters that the house really prides themselves on. Master Sandman has come to me about one of my children. He claims Felix shows great promise in his studies and may make a fine candidate for the Citadel. There, he says, Felix could find his own path and work towards forging a chain that he may one day serve the realm as a maester. Felix is our second-born son, right after Ulrich here, who is our heir. Now, Ulrich is already 18. Felix is only 9. I don't think Vaelor would mind sending a son off to become a maester, but I also don't think he would necessarily want to send his one other son off to become a maester who could not inherit titles. He's trying to grow out House Starfell, and sending your children off to places where they can no longer inherit, not a fantastic way to do that. Sandman is not going to like this, but Vaelor is going to say that my child is a Dane, not a grey rat. Now, Ulrich, our eldest son and heir, is our regent while we are at war, and he is furthering his mandate. He has gained us some gold, but he is continuing to swing the scales of power in his direction as well. Oh, two massive pieces of news here. First of all, our brother Tion is dead. He has died, which now means that Marquess Edric Dayne here is now the ruler of the Torrentine, who we're actually allied with. Despite the alliance, however, he actually dislikes us even more than Tion did, which is interesting, but shouldn't be an issue at least while we have that alliance. On a grander scale, though, there has been a succession of the Iron Throne. A letter marked with the seal of House Targaryen has arrived from King's Landing. King Viserys was slain in battle. May he repose in peace. Aegon Targaryen has been proclaimed the rightful successor to 7 kingdoms of the Iron Throne. Wow, so Aegon II Targaryen now sits the throne. I didn't actually see this before, but we have the ability to impart values onto our children here. I only noticed it on Felix now that he's 10. Ultimately, we have a percentage chance for him to gain one of our traits. I think Vaelor here would seek to make Felix an inquisitive man the way that he is. I think we would see it as Ulrich being the diplomat, military leader, the eldest son who will take control of the realm, manage war, politics, that type of thing. Whereas Felix here, not ruling, will instead actually focus on learning things about the realm, understanding the histories of Westeros, dragons and dragon eggs and maesters and everything else like that. But rather than him becoming a maester himself, is going to do this so we can give that knowledge back to House Starfell. Now, to be clear, I don't think we'll be going anywhere near dragon eggs or dragons or anything like that just yet, but of course the ultimate goal is to turn the Starfell house into a dragon riding house. Will he gain inquisitive though? Lesson success. Okay, amazing. And of course, Vaelor's loan has come back to haunt him. Tension seeps through my halls as the envoys of the bank have come to collect their due. Brief exchange of pleasantries. They hand me a couple sheets of paper. It's the original loan agreement. The second is calculation showing that I now owe them a sum of 172 gold to be paid immediately. So we can say we can only cover the interest for now. It'll extend the loan and continue to accrue interest, but it does not count as a default. I cannot afford to pay anything yet will be considered a default, but we could agree to a new deal, extending it by 5 years, but any future loans will increase significantly in terms of interest rate, or you will not see a coin from me, which will have likely very bad consequences. We'll cover the interest for now, but we will pay it back soon. It looks as though we no longer have to take care of our nemesis, Lord Bernard Blackmont here, who has just died from his wounds. Instead now, in his place over in Westeros here, it is Lord Quinlan Blackmont. Now, he does not like us at all either. High taxes, autonomous vassals, short reign, declared war on close family member, and critically, predecessor's nemesis. Now, Over time, he may grow to forgive this, but we are certainly going to keep an eye on you. The good news is that he can't actually join a faction yet because he's still underage, but that's only for another 3 years. Now, our son here, who we did give some lands to, would like an alliance with us. Happy to accept that. I would rather not have my son at my back later when he grows in strength, although he does love us, seems unlikely, but happy to have that alliance. Our siege is also almost finished. It's taking forever over here in Garrion Heights. This is a level 3 castle holding, but so many of the counties here I'm noticing have such high defenses. There it is. We have captured Lady Catherine's mother and 2 others during the siege. We can now enforce our demands here and we'll take this land for ourselves. What I am also going to do is give the county of Carrion Heights here to Felix so that at least he is landed. He will not be our next heir unless something happens to Ulrich, but at least he'll be a landed man, which should help him and continue to grow out the family in terms of strength. Now, we do also have enough piety to ask our head of faith, a magnanimous one here, for 100 gold. He will lose some opinion of us, but this will give us enough to fully pay off our loan. Fantastic. He has accepted, so we will immediately repay our bank loan so that it stops accruing interest. 172 gold. That does hurt, but it did help us a lot get to this point. It has to be done. Oh, and look at this. Aegon has won against Tiberio Truetear, a nobleman from Still Blood in the pirate crew conquest of the High Lordship of the First Stepstones. Aegon has finished what Daemon couldn't and has taken the Stepstones for the Iron Throne. Although, to be fair, not all of them. Actually, just the first Stepstone, so 1 duchy out of the actual Kingdom of the Stepstones itself. But still, more progress than Daemon got. Now that our High Lordship is unified, we are going to start work on building up the capital here. I think Vaelor is going to start with some apiaries down here. Very nice that at the max level here gives us another 1.3 gold a month, as well as increasing the overall holding taxes and development growth. So we'll start building this here. While that's building, Vaelor is also going to go and pay homage to his ruler, Prince Corran of the actual Principality of Dorne here. I think this makes a lot of sense. He's been good to us. He gave us the actual land we needed in the form of a vassal to complete our High Lordship. And also, I don't think Vaelor would have any issue bending the knee to the King of Dorne at this stage. House Dayne has done that for centuries, if not longer at this point. We are going to give him an oath, but we're not going to promise any favors, obligations, or gifts though. This is going to be a relatively long trip for us, but it's our first time traveling all the way through Dorne here, all the way down to the opposite side of Dorne itself to reach Sunspear, the capital. Now, on the way to the capital, our hand here, or Castellan, actually died in his sleep. So we've put Ulrich in here for the time being. Actually a very decent character already, just at 19 in terms of what we can expect at this point. So we will have him on overseeing the realm for us. That should help him out, and hopefully he'll learn a thing or two about actually being in charge of the realm while he's there. We have arrived at Sunspear to pay homage to the prince, and he's not here. I think he is supposed to be though, because he is replying to us. He bids me to arise, confirms his satisfaction along with my rights to the lands I rule in his stead. That is exactly what we wanted to get. House Dayne has gained 25 renown. He's gained 10 opinion of us, and we have gained 150 prestige. We've been traveling for so long now and seen already so much of Dorne that we've also picked up the trade Traveller, which is fantastic to see. Maybe we'll even go and visit some other interesting locations later. The Mercenaries of Gateshoal. A nobleman, eh, my lord? Interested in the services of the best band of mercenaries in Gateshoal. More loyal men you'll never find, at least if you pay us properly. I don't think we'll pay 30 gold for the 600 men. I don't really think we need them right now, but we do have the perfect job for him. We will appoint Beldekar Aldana here as our sworn shield. Their aptitude is excellent, and he'll gain some opinion of us. Absolutely. The more talented men and women we can find at this stage and bring them to our court, the better. Vaelor has returned home to Blackmont. The question for what's next is going to be primarily around continuing to build up our holdings, as well as making sure that our heir Ulrich here is up to the task ahead. Outside of that, though, we are in an interesting position. We could attempt to try and take one other duchy and hold both of those. After that, though, we can't just really expand the way we normally would in Crusader Kings 3. For example, if I was to theoretically take the Prince's Pass here and then Red March, I'm going to have too many duchies. But if I hand off any duchy, they'll be independent because I'm not a king. But the only way to be a king would be to be the king of Dorne, which is a whole different thing to actually go for. On top of the fact that the actual Iron Throne itself is fully unified, so we can't necessarily go to war inside of there either without declaring war on King Aegon and every dragon that's owned. So I think in Vaelor's mind, the best play for now is to continue to build up his own realm and then possibly look at getting his family in control of the actual kingdom itself. This will take a lot of work, a lot of smart marriages and some luck as well, but I think that's the best thing for us to aim for. Our best bet in doing that is really growing out our family, having as many children as possible, and then from there trying to find somebody with the right claims to get ourselves in control of the Kingdom of Dorne. Once we do that though, it's not exactly going to be easy sailing from there either, as we will be Dorne, yes, but still a singular kingdom outside of the Iron Throne itself. And realistically, at any point, if the Iron Throne really wanted to take Dorne, they probably could. In the one war we've seen between them, the Iron Throne absolutely smashed Dorne. Another dragon has taken to the skies. Alyra is now old enough and at 14 years old has taken her first flight with Green Comet. Now, Alyra is the only non-Targaryen person in the world at the moment who is actually riding a dragon, largely thanks to Grover Tully, the paramount over the Riverland's smart marriage to Lady Rhaenys Targaryen here, which gave them that high Valyrian blood, which enabled the ability for Alyra to actually be a dragon rider. One question I do have though, maybe somebody can answer in the comments. I understand that when it comes to riding a dragon, ultimately you have to either be High Valyrian or have the blood of a High Valyrian. I am curious though how that works in terms of Alyra Tully here. For example, will her children still be eligible to actually ride dragons if their grandmother was High Valyrian? My guess is yes, but at a lower percentage chance, or it could be harder for them. But I am curious if that would still work, or is it only one generation down from a so-called real High Valyrian? Now, Catelyn here, who we actually took Carrion Heights off of, is now our rival. The brash fool makes my blood boil. How could the father see fit to curse the earth with her obnoxious wickedness? It's obvious she is their kin. She is worse than both putrid boil and ravenous locust. I cannot stand the mere thought of breathing the same loathsome air as her. I must do something. I must act. My sanity depends on it. I will not rest until Catelyn is dead and buried. We are driven by vengeance for 10 years. Now, Catelyn here is located all the way up in Tumbleton now since losing her lands. May be difficult for us, but we will attempt to murder her considering she is our actual rival. And it's the first time that Vaelor here will dip his toe into the world of this subterfuge. Like I said, he definitely wants to be more of a House Dayne man, focused on martial and prowess and everything else, but that's not to say that you can't have high prowess and be knightly and not behind the scenes be doing some murders. Amazingly, we could send for a faceless man to have Catelyn killed. Now, I don't think we care that much, but it is interesting that we have this option. What do we need? We need a gold reserve of greater than 300, a child fit for servitude to the many-faced god. They will accept an artifact in my possession, or they will accept my life as payment. You or your spy master must have an intrigue of at least 20. That is very interesting to know and could be super useful later on. Now, I have to be honest. I don't fully understand why, but we've lost the Fields of Glass. It is still Lord Dagos, who was our vassal, but somewhere along the line, his new liege is House Dayne. I'm not entirely sure how that's happened. I wasn't partitioned to give it back or transfer or anything, but that has just occurred. Now, somebody did die, and I assumed it was him and maybe it fell out of our actual realm. But when I look at the title history, it's revoked by me and granted to him, but then somewhere along the line, his liege just changes. Very unusual. Not the end of the world, it's not even our de jure lands, but quite unusual. A Mirish inventor has been traveling Westeros, stopping in my domain at High Hermitage. The array of creations that he has on display is astonishing. Though my son Lord Felix is not going to spend his days constructing oddities, such creative thinking and ingenuity could benefit him when he becomes his own ruler. Perhaps I should convince Baldico to provide lessons. It's 100 gold, which is pretty intense, but it is very on brand with what we want for Felix. I think we will invest this into him, but that will probably be the biggest investment we ever do into our second-born son. Vaelor now has quite a decent relationship with the actual Prince of Dorne himself. It may be time to actually ask for a favor. Let us actually go and petition the prince. There isn't a huge amount we can ask for at the moment. We can ask for a council appointment, which could be a long shot, but we'll give it a go anyway. Once again, we'll get back on the road all the way down to the capital. As we travel through the dry lands of Morn's Vault, a hospice covered in beautiful salt Dornish art appears along the roadside. Travelers, you look weary. Our doors are open for rest and care. A physician offers with a gentle smile. Inside, the air is calm, filled with the smoothing aroma of herbs. Try my famed decoction of poppy. It'll reinvigorate your souls. Oh boy. 99% chance we gain invigorated for a small health boost for 10 years. 1% chance it kills us. And I have seen as well, I think even King Aegon himself is a milk of the poppy addict. Presumably, if we do this enough, we could also end up an addict. Surely one won't hurt Vaelor though, right? Good news, it didn't kill us and we have gained invigorated. We have also arrived in front of the prince and he's actually here this time, which is fantastic. I elucidate the abilities proven and otherwise that make me a suitable candidate to be the prince's marshal, requesting the position as his advisor. I certainly can't do any worse than Lord Ballard of God's Grace, the existing marshal. After listening to my speech, he smiles warmly at me and states, absolutely, vassal, I shall dispatch my agents immediately to take care of this matter. Thank you, my liege. So he's going to fire Lord Ballard from his council, appoint me as marshal. Ballard is not going to like it at all, but we've both gained some renown and I cannot be removed from the council for 5 years. Amazing. Oh, this is what we like to see. The man that we paid, the eccentric man from Myr, who's actually a genius, didn't even realize that, has actually taught Felix, our son here, where is he? He has taught him Valyrian, which is very, very nice. This is exactly what we want to see. Felix has also gained the trait Wise Man. This is perfect. Also, given that the majority of our vassals are actually our own family, Vaelor is going to use this time to increase the actual crown law inside of Blackmont. We're going to pass limited crown authority here, giving us the ability to establish tributaries. The rulers can change between the succession laws, but critically, titles and vassals can be revoked and retracted. Oh, and look at this. We've received an invitation to Lord Edison's grand tournament. This is actually House Peak that we're allied to as well. Absolutely will come and take part. Okay, we have arrived at the tournament. Let's actually get something done here. Let's prove ourselves. We have a joust, a melee, and an archery contest. Now, the joust is actually what Vaelor has the best aptitude for because of his prowess, martial, and students of swordplay, which actually comes from a unique House Dayne family bonus. Let's head to the tourney grounds to see if we can actually get ourselves into qualification. I wanted to go to the tourney grounds. It looks like I've ended up in the tavern somehow. They're drinking. I don't think Vaelor would drink before a tournament. We could try to rile them up. 70% chance they gain the trait wounded and severely injured. 10% chance we gain an intrigue of 1. Yeah, let's go for it. Let's try and make them pay extra for drinking. Now, I was hoping for something that would increase our score a bit more there. It didn't really happen, unfortunately. Let's instead try go to the tent camp, see if we can make something happen here. You stone Dornish have your skills, concedes Lord Hector, but have you seen one of these? Could you load one and take aim? The Lord passes me a weapon I have in fact seen before from afar. It's a strongbow placed sideways at the end of an arrow-bearing channel. The Honeywinters use it to pierce armor. Any armor. Of course we'll have a try. 95% chance the cultural acceptance between Stone Dornish and Honeywinters increases by 5, and we gain Open-Minded Warrior for 20 years. Absolutely we'll give it a go. We nobly represent the Stone Dornish. Of course we do, but I was really hoping to increase our actual qualification chances. Uh-oh, in the background, Marquise Tristane Fowler of Prince's Pass here has been discovered in the murder plot. Let's have a quick look at this, please. The scheme has been exposed and the existence is known to the target. That is not ideal. Exposed agent risks imprisonment. And the exposed agent is like the High Lord of Prince's Pass. That's interesting. We'll leave the murder situation going for now. There's still a chance we could pull it off. In other news, though, the Prince of Dorne has actually entered into a co-monarchy. He's now power sharing with Arlene Nemeros Martell of Dorne. 27 years old. She is married to House Caferen here, which is interesting. But presumably, the Prince of Dorne has decided who he wants his heir to be. So the joust is over. Hopefully we can at least qualify for the melee. That is right down our ally. I'm going to the tourney grounds now. Please give me a chance to increase my score. Do not send me back to the tavern. So men are betting on the pace of birds here. We could say it's excellent entertainment, or actually can join in on the bet. But instead we're going to say we do not have time for this. We are Vaelor of House Starfell trying to prove ourselves. We want to compete. Currently guaranteed. That's more like it. Not by much though. Let's go to the tent camp once again as well. Strength of arm is important, but more important still is strength of mind. He looks at me intently. Becoming a skilled tactician involves listening to the failures and successes of others, which brings me to the time when I was knighted by Lord Liamar. Almost half an hour passes, but it feels like mere seconds. He sure knows how to spin a tale. This will help me in the upcoming contest, and our score increases moderately. Here we go, we are in, and first up is Lord Marks here of Harp's Head. We do have the ability to sabotage them, but that is not the man that Vaelor is. We are not going to win this way. So the brawl is getting absolutely out of control. The melee has spilled over into Starpike proper, and even now I can see contestants from both sides ripping off pieces of building facade to use as rudimentary shields or even missiles. I'm going to attempt to call for a truce. 71% chance our score increases, 29% chance nobody listens. The melee ceases for now. Okay, good. We managed to get some order. Enter the fray. Here we go. Vaelor will win a soldier's victory. And we have actually done it. We have won. We've gained melee victor, increasing our martial as well as our martial lifestyle experience. Obviously, we've got some hostile looter trait experience as well. And at the end of this tournament, we will receive a prize. Amazing. We may as well try and qualify for the archery as well, if we can. Now, we have come across Uragon Yelcher here, who we could attempt to talk into joining our council. Given that he is a prosperous seneschal, I think it would make a ton of sense. Now, somehow, Vaelor did manage to end up qualifying for the archery contest. Let's give this a go. Here we go. Let's give the crowd something to cheer for. 99% chance we increase moderately. We hit the target blindfolded. We're an incredible archer. Oh, did we do it? Oh my days, we've won the archery contest as well. We gain merry aim for even more injury resistance in the form of prowess, as well as an increase to our archer damage as well. What a great occasion. We have become the owner of the prize scepter, a lovely and first artifact for House Starfell. Let's absolutely get this scepter equipped here. Bit more prestige, building construction cost reduction, court grandeur bonus, and a small bit more levies as well. Now, with the gold gained from the tournament, Vaelor is also going to invest in some hill farms to continue working on increasing his tax income. Now, in unfortunate news, there's a new High Lord of Peak, Lord Eston Peak here. Edison Peak has died, and that has, unfortunately, expired our alliance. So we are no longer as safe as we once were over here in Blackmont. We still have the alliance with Prince's Pass, as well as some of our family inside of Torrentine, as well as obviously our own two sons as well. But we are no longer as strong as we once were. Oh, I don't believe this. Lady Alira of the Riverlands has died. Green Comet is now without the guidance of a rider. How did she die during childbirth? A dragon rider and another woman like my daughter, who just at age 18 died during childbirth with no other children to her name. Wow. Felix is no longer a child but an adult. They grow up so fast. He has gained the trait flamboyant trickster, trained fighter, and wise man. Amazing. Can't ask for much more than that, to be honest. Now, what's very interesting is that Felix here could technically marry Rhaenys Velaryon. This would not only give us an alliance of 9,000 men, but Felix's children would technically be able to become dragon riders thanks to the high Valyrian blood here that Rhaenys has. We will absolutely send this proposal. We'll see if they accept, and to be honest, it may be something that Ulrich, our primary heir, might also want to look into, considering his marriage with Lady Sharon Peake here no longer is offering any benefits in the form of alliances. They've actually accepted. We now have an alliance with Driftmark, and Felix is married to a woman who technically has the right blood to actually start getting some dragon riders inside of our house. This is amazing news. Okay, we're at 75%. We have 20 advantages. Let's cover every angle here and see if we can make this happen. Amazing. She is dead. We've gained 150 prestige for outliving our rival, and we've lost some stress as well. We are in a very nice position at the moment. Thanks to our allies, especially now with Driftmark as well, we are quite strong. If theoretically we wanted to do an independence war against Dorne here, they would have us beat by numbers, but not by a huge amount. We are very, very strong given our size. Dorne does also have no allies at the moment, however. Ultimately, what we're really waiting for now and what we need to work on is claims. If we can just get the right marriages off and get some claims for kingdoms, even Dorne to start with, and get our family in control of a kingdom, then we can really start to make some significant moves, possibly even against the Iron Throne itself, or even across the Narrow Sea here into places like Pentos and the Three Daughters as well. Start to really expand out, while in the background, making sure that we continue to marry our family off to High Valyrians, and start to work on getting some dragons inside of House Starfell. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please don't forget to like and subscribe. A massive shout out to all of our channel members who are helping to support the channel and everything that I do here. If you would like to support the channel, click that join button down below. And as always, a massive shout out to our Emperor's Hands tier, Faustspread, Spencer Roberts, and Batch Plays. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video.